everyone, this is Lydia at Learn to Garden with me. I hope everybody is enjoying their summer. I know it's a very hot summer and it's not very nice to go out and work in the garden. But as a gardener, uh, we need to keep going even it's very hot. And there are some plants that are experiencing great stress, but there are also those that are thriving. So this morning I'm going to show you some of these flowers that are still blooming very nicely. But before that, I want to let you know that this is also the best time of the year in the garden to harvest some flowers or some flower heads that you can make projects later. So that's what I did very early today. So I went around in the garden and picked some flowers and some this is one of the flowers. These are the flower stalks of the agapanthus. So the flowers are gone, of course, so they are done flowering, and you get this very nice flower heads that are left. So I don't know if this is a good candidate for dried flowers, but I want to try and dry this and make projects later. I can probably dye this one and put it in my Christmas tree or put in a wreath. I don't know, but that's what I did this morning. So I'll show you some of the flowers that I had picked and what I did. So I put them in our hallway where there is some less traffic and it's dark there, and I hope that it would dry nicely and later I can make projects.
I can't forget the day we met. Your eyes so blue, me piercing through. I can't forget the day we met. Your smile so bright, it made me swoon. Our love is like a summer's day, hot and endless in a magic way. Whenever I see you, all I can think is my summer love. Been waiting for you, my love. My summer love. Been waiting for you, my love. I can't forget the day we met. You looked so fly in your red Corvette. Your hair, your look, your everything.
So I would like to talk about the flowers that are still thriving in this very hot summer, and what I did to make it still look like they're just in their prime. And one of these flowers is this Supertunia. This is the Supertunia bubblegum, and this is the first time that I have grown this. And this is just one plant, and look at it. It occupies the whole page. You only need one plant to get this look. And 2 weeks ago, this looked very tired. So what I did is I pruned it really hard. So I lost lots of flowers at that time when I pruned it, like, so you can still see because it was already very low here, and they look very tired and they don't flower as much as they flower now. And look at them, they look like they just, you know, planted. And same thing here, this was very tired looking 2 weeks ago. I had to prune it like very hard, and now it's giving me back with all these flowers. They look gorgeous. Besides pruning, you also make sure that you give them enough food to produce this blooms for you. So I'm fertilizing this Supertunias and my other flowering plants weekly with a liquid fertilizer, and they will bloom till, I think, till frost. So it gives you a lot of it's giving you back, you know, if you treat them very well. So I have here, this is geranium, and they look like they need some tender loving care. Well, this is one of the flowers that need some maintenance. You have to deadhead them to keep them blooming. I got so busy lately that I wasn't able to come and do the deadheading, so I'm going to do it. So what you do is just cut this flower stalks, and it should produce you more blooms. So this type of geranium need a little shade. So this is not actually probably the right place to put it, but I just tried it. It gets very hot here in the afternoon. But so far, they're still blooming, but some of the leaves are burned. So I might put this in a pot, because I really need to move this in the winter, because this is an annual, it can't be left here. So I will put this in a pot and put it in a little shade next year. So that's geranium, a white geranium. The other geranium here. So I have to deadhead this. Don't worry if there are still flowers there. Anyway, they will produce more blooms. See, I have more coming out. So I'll just cut this. So I'm going to show you the reality in gardening when, you know, you're just a part-time gardener and you do not have time every day to do it. So look at my coleus in the pot. Coleus needs a lot of water, and I work day shift this weekend, so I left very early and came home very late, so I didn't get a chance to come and check on it. And it rained in the last few days, and Ty probably think that you don't need to water, so he didn't also bother to come and check on it. So that's what happened. But don't worry, coleus usually bounce back. Once you get them water, they bounce back. But I really hate doing that to them. It's not very nice, but that's just what it is. Some flowers just really need some attention, and I probably need to do something to probably really ensure next time that I have a drip system for all my pots, so they are taken care of even if I'm not here. The next plant that I'm going to about is this impatient. This is one of the gorgeous plants I have grown this year. This is my first time too. Um, this is sun patience. That's the commercial name. You know it's in the impatient. Um, it's an impatient, but they call it sun patient. It's the company that name is sun patient, and this kind of plant come in different colors, but I chose this color because I just like pink, and they look very nice here. And for those who have followed me since the beginning of the season, okay, if you can remember, I planted this in May, and they're not this big yet. It's very small, but now it covers the whole pot, and they look very nice. So as I said in my previous video, I think this is one of the plants that you can put in a pot on its own. You didn't need another plants, or maybe you can put some creeping Jenny under it if you like, but just this one is very beautiful to me. So this requires a very little maintenance, except that you really need to water it. In July, when we went for a short vacation, we didn't make arrangement to water it, and so it got dried, and some leaves are burned. I even cut some of the branches, but they bounce back. They don't they look like they never experienced stress so far. So this flower will continue to bloom, I think, till the first frost. So this is one of those that is really very good to have in the garden. So very cheap. I think I bought this for $6 each. So you just make sure you water it, and of course give them food. So I am giving them fertilizer, a liquid fertilizer every week now. Before I didn't, and they didn't look very happy. So I started giving them a weekly fertilizer, and they started to produce this gorgeous blooms. Alright, so that's our sun patience. An update of our front garden. There is really not much change, except that I cut if you remember, I had a potato ornamental cabbage here. So I pulled it, took the seeds because I just wanted them to seed. So it's gone now. There are some plants here that needs taking, but I just didn't get a chance to do it. So this is the Gara. They flip over. So I don't know if I can tie it there. But I have some sedum here. This is the autumn joy that they produce gorgeous blooms in the fall. So they will open in the fall. This is a little pink in the fall. There's still a lot of things that need to be done in this front garden. So I will do it later this fall. It's just too hot. So but some are still thriving. I have some still flowers. Of course, that roses need to go. it doesn't. I put the climbing rose in the trellis or in that arbor there, and they just grow crazy, but they don't produce flowers because they don't get much sun there, only in the late afternoon. So they're not flowering, they're just all over the place. So I probably need to move it this fall. I don't know, for some reason the clematis is not flowering, so I put some fertilizer on it early in the season, but it's not doing well. My hydrangea there that I just planted in the spring is growing, and it produces flowers actually. Although it's not, I just learned it's not the best time to plant it. I should have planted it, waited in the fall, but it's okay. So here in the sidewalk, I think they are doing well, except some of my lamb's ears are dying. I think this part here gets lots of water because when it rained, and even watering those there, all the waters will go in here. So this one doesn't like much water, so it's dying. And this Artemisia is doing well, but I don't know why in the middle they're open in the middle. I don't know, this is my first time to grow it, but this is supposedly an evergreen, so it stays green here, so I like it here. There's still, when in the winter, so this stays here, and most of these other plants here are not going to they will die. So this is also Supertunia, the Supertunia Bordeaux. So they look like they are experiencing some great stress. It's yellowing, but they're still blooming. So I probably need to put more fertilizer. So I really need to do a lot of maintenance here, a lot of weeding. So that's probably what I need to do later. So let's do flowers here in the front. So it's getting very hot. I need to do some work inside the house and come back later to work in the garden. It's already very hot. I had to change clothes. But anyhow, I would like you to think and start planning for your spring bulbs. I just placed my order for some blends of tulips, so I'm very excited about that. It's my first time to plant this blend, no, this color blends tulips. I last year when I tried to plant tulips, I just got it from the garden center, and I didn't plant very many, but I didn't have good success. There are some that came out, but they're very stunted, and I realized that it's probably because I didn't pre-chill it before I plant it. So I start reading and watching some videos on growing tulips and some other bulbs like your daffodils. So they said spring is not spring if you don't have daffodils. I planted some daffodils, they came out and they flower, but I don't have very many. So this time I have ordered some of it. I will post it in the video so you can see what kinds of bulbs that I ordered. I tried that there's a blend of 10 different daffodils that is good for my climate, for the south. So I'm going to try that and see if I will have success this spring. I'm so excited. It's still summer, but I'm thinking about spring already. So I'm really hoping that I will have more success next year. I did have good flowers that give me some joy this season. So, but I'm still learning. You know, for those of you who do not know, I am an amateur gardener. I just learn from other gardeners, watching their videos, do some reading, and just trying. I did have lots of failures, but I learned from it, and I'm just excited to learn some more, and hopefully one day I'll have a beautiful garden. So I hope you enjoy watching this video, and if you like to follow me, I hope you subscribe. I would really appreciate it, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.